Hey guys, today I'm working on some prep work for my brick knee wall project. It's all about enhancing curb appeal and creating a more protected space. First things first, I need to clean up this existing concrete pad. I used wire brushes and brooms to get rid of all the dirt and debris. Even small contamination can prevent proper adhesion, so it's worth taking the time to do it right. Next up, I'm putting down some flashing to manage water infiltration. I'm using high-quality exterior-grade polyurethane sealant and applying it with steady pressure at a 45-degree angle. This stuff is rated for 30-plus years of exterior use, so I'm feeling pretty confident about its performance. I am applying a healthy amount on this flashing before pushing it down. I've done some concrete work before, but this is my first time working with brick. It's been a learning curve, but I'm figuring it out as I go. I want the flashing to help hold down the sealant, so I'm making sure it's applied securely in the corner. One key tip when working with this type of product is to never apply it to dirty or wet surfaces. That just doesn't work out well. Now that my flashing is in place, I need to consider the surface for laying brick. In this case, I'll have to add some additional concrete to bring the first level up to align with the existing brick. I'm using treated wood for my forms and making sure they're properly secured to the wall. When working with power tools, safety is always top of mind. When you're doing a project like this on your own, it's essential to establish a comprehensive safety routine. That includes wearing proper gear, maintaining focus, and being mindful of potential hazards. When making precise cuts, use your table saw with fence or rib cuts and miter saw for cross cuts. That way you can get clean, accurate results. I've got my blade selection down to a 40-tooth combination blade, which works great for both rip and cross cuts on pressure-treated boards. I am doing this project in my spare time. I do what I can when I can, typically an hour here and there. When doing this, it causes a lot of setup and cleanup work for short work times. I am securing this inner form to the wall directly. I am going to leave this form in place. It's going to be inside the wall. Treated wood, and I don't know any good reason to try to take it out, though I still need to put it in there to help create the proper level on the concrete. For the form on the outside, I'm using standard non-treated wood since this will come off eventually. These boards, they are not long enough to create a form all the way across, and I don't want it to sag in the middle. So I am cutting another board to screw them together to create a continuous form. With my concrete form in place, I am now ready to move on to the next step in this prep work, before mixing up the concrete. I'm going to put some metal in this form. I have some rebar that I'm going to put in here, but first I'm going to put some concrete screws in the existing slab. I borrowed this hammer drill from my dad. I had one, but it broke some time back, and this one is way nicer. If you have never used a hammer drill to drill into concrete, you're missing out on a fun experience. I am using this wire to tie the rebar to the concrete screws I just put in. I put in the screws in a way so they stick out and will hold up the rebar. This is going to be a thin, long run of concrete, and I am trying to do my best to keep it strong and adhere to the concrete under it. I found this concrete bonding agent, and I am going to apply this to the existing concrete before pouring in the new concrete. This is expected to work like a glue and lock them together. I have never used this before, but here it goes. I will just pour it out and spread it around with my brush. I think it is good to get it into every part possible, covering every surface of the existing concrete. It is also good that I clean this concrete up first because at this point, it would be very hard to do. You know, I've mixed concrete quite a few times now, and let me tell you, still an adventure every single time. Sure, I'm not exactly a pro, but I've learned enough to know that each project comes with its own little surprises. Like this latest project, I thought I had it all figured out, but concrete always keeps you humble. I've tried different methods over the years, but this time I decided to go with my trusty 5-gallon bucket setup. Yeah, it got a bit messy. Okay, really messy. I had concrete splatter all over my shoes. But hey, that's just part of the experience, right? At least I remember to wear my old clothes this time, and thank goodness I was wearing my Crocs. I could just wash them off with the hose. No harm, no foul. The funny thing about mixing in a bucket is you really have to get a feel for it. Even after doing this a handful of times, I still sometimes get that moment of, is this too wet? Too dry? It's like muscle memory. You know what you're looking for, but there's always that little voice of doubt. And let me tell you, trying to stir that stuff in a bucket is quite the workout. My arms were definitely reminding me the next day that I'm not as young as I used to be. I had to somehow hold the drill and the bucket with my feet to keep it from taking off. One thing I've learned over time is that concrete has its own personality. Sometimes it wants to play nice, and other times it seems determined to give you a hard time. This batch was actually pretty cooperative once I got the water ratio right. Though I did have that classic moment where I thought just a tiny bit more water, and suddenly it was too soupy. Nothing like scrambling to add more dry mix to save it. Some lessons you just keep learning over and over. In fact, this first batch ended up being too dry. I think I have to relearn how to do this every time I do it. That is the thing with doing everything yourself. By the time you get back around to doing the same thing again, you forget and have to relearn the lessons you learned before. But you get really quick to learn as you go. But you know what? That's what I love about working with concrete. Each project teaches you something new, even when you think you've got it figured out. Plus, there's something really satisfying about stepping back and seeing what you've created, even with all the little imperfections. And believe me, there are imperfections. This second batch I mixed up here turned out a lot better. I am doing my best here to wiggle this concrete into this small form. I want it to get in under the rebar and fill in every crevice. I've come to appreciate that mixing concrete is kind of like cooking. You can follow the recipe exactly, but there's always room for things to go a little sideways. And those mishaps and challenges are what make it interesting. Sure, I could probably save myself some hassle by breaking out my mixer, but then I would have to clean that whole thing up just for this little bit of concrete. I'm going to continue until it is smooth on top and I am convinced that it is seated. Then I'm going to let it sit and become fully dry and cured before starting on the brick. I will come back in another video and show you my brickwork. First time ever, so don't expect a lot. I hope you enjoyed this little video and please like and subscribe if you do.